Hey friends, before we jump into the story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and support the channel. It really means a lot. Thank you. I step into the opulent ballroom of the Crestwood Manor and instantly regret it. Crystal chandeliers cast shimmering light across polished marble floors, and the murmur of affluence hums through the room in quiet tones of reverence. Ethan's hand settles gently on the small of my back, grounding me with a subtle touch. Breathe, he murmurs, his physician's gaze scanning me with measured calm. We belong here. Noah, our 7-year-old, fidgets with his bow tie, already restless. Mom, this thing's strangling me, he grumbles. I kneel, loosening the knot with a smile. Just a little longer, champ. Remember our deal, behave now, arcade later. The crowd parts for a moment, and my breath catches. A familiar silhouette, her head tilted just so, the way she leans into a laugh. It's been 12 years, but my body knows her instantly. The bride turns, wine glass raised in a toast, and our eyes meet across the room. Claire, my sister. My champagne flute quivers faintly in my hand, the only sign of the storm raging inside. I didn't recognize the name James Harper on the invitation. I hadn't connected the dots. I thought Claire was still using our family name, Larson. Her sharp inhale slices through the chatter like a knife. Heads turn. The string quartet plays on, but a pocket of silence forms around us, taut and heavy. Behind her, Mom's face pales, then flushes red. Dad steps forward, his broad frame shielding Claire as he always has. What are you doing here? Mom hisses, loud enough for nearby guests to glance over curiously. The old shame claws up my throat. For a second, I'm 20 again, standing in the rain with a duffel bag, cast out and alone. Ethan moves closer, his voice steady but firm. My wife is a guest. She's the CEO of Vitaltech. We were invited by the groom himself. The name Vitaltech ripples through the nearby cluster of medical professionals. Whispers spread, eyes light with recognition. CEO, a woman in a sapphire gown, turns to her companion. That's Lauren Larson. Rain soaks my coat as Dad's voice echoes in my mind. If you won't work at the clinic, don't come back. The door's slam still rings in my ears, final as a verdict. Now I stand tall in a tailored Armani dress, the rain a distant memory. The frightened girl is gone, replaced by a woman who built an empire from nothing. Dr. James Harper approaches, brow furrowed in confusion, his gaze flicking between Claire's frozen expression and my composed one. You know Vitaltech's CEO, he asks my parents, then turns to me with keen interest. We've been trying to collaborate with your company for months. Your patient recovery platform is transforming post-op care. Claire tries to smile, but it cracks at the edges. Mom and Dad exchange a panicked glance. The murmurs among the guests grow louder, more curious. I could unravel their lies right now. I could tell James how they claimed I flunked out of college, painted me as a failure while funneling my tuition money to Claire. The power is mine. Instead I say, hello Claire, congratulations. The words land like a quiet bomb. Claire flinches as if I'd screamed. Ethan's hand grazes my back, a silent question, stay or leave. Noah looks up, oblivious to the tension. Mom, is the lady in the white dress your friend? James's eyes sharpen, darting between Claire and me, sensing the unspoken history. Claire, he says, confusion creeping into his tone, I thought you said your sister was. His words trail off, the unfinished thought hanging heavy. Claire's eyes flit desperately between her new husband and our parents. For once, she's speechless. The smart move would be to take my family and slip away, let Claire have her day, let old wounds stay buried. But regret is just fear in disguise, and I shed fear years ago. This is my wife Claire, James says proudly, his arm around her waist. Georgetown grad and the brilliant mind running her family's practice in Maine. I stand a few feet away, my champagne untouched, watching Claire nod gracefully as she's introduced to a group of doctors. Her diamond earrings glint when she tilts her head, a telltale sign she's about to bend the truth, just like when we were kids. The Larson Clinic has served our community for over 3 decades, she says, her voice a perfect blend of pride and modesty. We focus on primary care with a specialty in elder services. Ethan nudges my arm, drawing my attention to a conversation nearby. A silver-haired man in a sharp suit reads my name tag. Vitaltech, he says, eyes widening. You're Lauren Larson. Your keynote at the healthcare summit last month was phenomenal. Your recovery platform is reshaping post-surgical protocols in 4 states now. 5, actually, I correct with a smile. We just signed with Cleveland's hospital network. Across the room, Claire stumbles over a question about advances in telemedicine. The doctor she's speaking to raises an eyebrow, exchanging a look with his colleague. I thought Georgetown phased out that approach years ago, he says, puzzled. Claire's laugh is too shrill. Well, you know how academia can be, some professors cling to old methods. James's expression shifts, a subtle tightening around his mouth, his arm easing away from Claire's waist. He's starting to see the cracks. Lauren, Dad's voice cuts through, unchanged despite the years, still carrying the authority that once had me racing to file patient charts after school while Claire practiced violin. You need to leave. You're ruining Claire's day. Ethan tenses, but I rest a hand on his arm. I was invited by James, I say evenly. Maybe you should explain why that bothers you. Dad's face reddens, his tailored suit unable to mask the small-town doctor whose influence doesn't extend beyond his own practice. Don't act coy, showing up, parading your little company. Vital Tech is hardly little, Ethan interrupts, his tone calm but cutting. Lauren's platform is in 32 hospitals nationwide. She was the featured speaker at the National Medical Tech Conference last month. A nearby guest overhears, recognition dawning as she whispers to her companion. Across the room, Mom hovers near Claire, frantically redirecting James's colleagues away from me, her hands fluttering nervously. Too late, the dots are connecting. Noah tugs at my hand. Mom, can we get ice cream now? You promised. I smile. Soon, buddy, he looks at Claire. Is that lady your sister? Did she go to college like you? Dad's face goes ashen. Before he can answer, Noah adds, You showed me your college photos. Those red buildings were cool. Claire, now closer with James at her side, freezes. Georgetown? James asks, looking between us. You went there too, Lauren. State University, I say simply. Class of 2013. A cardiologist nearby turns to James. You didn't mention your wife's sister was Lauren Larson. Her predictive algorithms for post-op recovery are game-changing. Our hospital cut readmissions by 25% using her system. Claire's shoulders sag under the weight of her lies. She reaches for James's arm, but he shifts away, his focus now on the professional buzz around me. Rain pelts my dorm window as I stare at a bank statement, my college fund drained, transferred to an account I don't recognize. That same week, Claire's Instagram posts show her skiing in Aspen, a trip I couldn't fathom how our family afforded. I shake off the memory. James has pulled Claire aside, their hushed argument visible across the ballroom. His face shifts from confusion to disbelief, then hardens as she grips his sleeve. You told me you graduated from Georgetown, he says, loud enough to carry. I've never heard your name mentioned by any faculty. Claire's voice is frantic. It was a hybrid program, mostly online. Georgetown doesn't offer online medical degrees, James cuts in, his tone icy. Never has. Claire's face crumples as her carefully built facade begins to collapse. Her eyes meet mine, pleading, desperate. James steps away from her and approaches me, his expression resolute. Can we talk privately? He asks, guiding me to a quiet corner of the ballroom. We sit in cushioned chairs, a small table between us. The dim light highlights the strain in his face. I'm sorry for the tension, he starts, adjusting his cufflinks. I didn't know Claire had a sister. She told you I dropped out of college, didn't she? I say, keeping my voice steady. That I couldn't handle it and vanished. James nods, wincing. Something like that. I graduated with honors, I say. Worked 3 jobs to do it. Mornings at a diner, nights at a hospital front desk, weekends tutoring. No family help. His eyes widen. 3 jobs and Vital Tech. Started it in our garage 8 years ago, I say. Last quarter's revenue was $450 million. James leans back, recalculating everything he thought he knew. Across the room, my parents flank Claire, their heads bent in urgent whispers. They'll try to interrupt us soon, I say calmly. James follows my gaze. They seem protective. Ethan approaches, phone discreetly at his side, a tactic we've used in high-stakes meetings to document interactions. Everything okay? He asks, his eyes checking me over. Just talking, I say, warmth spreading at his presence. Mom swoops in, her voice overly bright. James, there's a colleague from Seattle General who'd love to meet you. Her eyes slide past me as if I'm invisible. James holds his ground. In a minute, Patricia, Lauren and I are discussing something important. Mom's smile tightens. Always stirring trouble are Lauren, she says to a nearby guest. She's always envied Claire's success. The accusation hangs in the air, sharp and bitter. Guests shift uncomfortably. I stay seated, composed, Ethan's hand on my shoulder a steady anchor. 20 minutes later, I step into the restroom and find Claire at the mirror, reapplying lipstick with shaking hands. Our eyes meet in the reflection. "Why are you ruining my life?" she demands, her voice cracking. I rinse my hands slowly. "Ruining how exactly?" "My wedding, making James doubt me." Tears smudge her makeup. "I'm not doing anything," I say softly. "I'm just here." Claire slams her lipstick down. "You were supposed to stay gone. They said you were a failure, that you couldn't handle responsibility." "And yet," I say, meeting her gaze, "here I am handling plenty." Back in the ballroom, I rejoin Ethan, his hand finding mine. Claire emerges moments later, her makeup fixed but her confidence fractured. The room's dynamic has shifted. Guests gravitate toward us, drawn by curiosity. A neurosurgeon discusses vital tech innovations with Ethan. A hospital director hands me her card. "Your platform cut our complication rates by 35%, she says. "We want to expand it." James stays close, asking sharp questions about our technology. Claire lingers on the edges, adrift. Dad storms over, his voice booming. "James, this is Claire's day. Let's focus on her achievements." The room falls silent, the weight of his words exposing the cracks in their narrative. Claire's smile falters. No one speaks. The truth doesn't need words. I pass my champagne to a waiter and check my watch. Time to go. Ethan catches my eye, disentangling himself from a conversation with a trauma surgeon. Noah tugs at my hand. "Arcade now." "One last thing," I say, pulling a small envelope from my purse. Inside is a certificate for Vital Tech stock, not a fortune but a statement. This is who I am, not the broken girl they discarded. We find James near the bar, watching Claire with a mix of doubt and resignation. "We're leaving," I tell him, handing him the envelope. "Congratulations again." He takes it with a genuine smile. "Thank you for coming, despite everything." His eyes flick to my parents, hovering like hawks. "I'd like to visit Vitaltech professionally." Our eyes meet, an unspoken understanding passing between us. He knows enough. "My assistant will arrange it," I say, handing him my card. Mom glides over, her voice syrupy. "Lauren was always so ambitious," she tells a guest. "Of course, we couldn't give her the same opportunities as Claire." The lie is almost laughable now. "What opportunities?" Ethan asks, his tone deceptively mild. "The 3 jobs she worked through college, or the nights she slept in her car after you took her tuition." Mom's face freezes, aware of the eavesdropping guests. Noah looks up. "Mom, aren't they your family?" The question lands like a stone in still water. "They're relatives," I say gently. "Family's different." Dad steps forward, chest puffed out. "You can't just barge back into our lives." "I'm not," I interrupt, my voice calm but final. "I'm not here to expose you or reconnect. I built my life without you, exactly as you forced me to." The memory surges. Rain drenching my clothes, the weight of my bag, the terrifying freedom of having nothing left. "Thank you," I tell them, catching them off guard. "Thank you for cutting me off. It made me who I am." Mom's face twists, but she's speechless. I take Noah's hand, Ethan beside me, and we walk out, steady, whole, unhurried. Whispers trail us, but they don't touch me. I've built a shield of success. In the lobby, Noah spins with glee. "Arcade time." 10 minutes to change, Ethan says, ruffling his hair. Our reflection in the marble wall shows a family, solid and united. Behind us, through the ballroom doors, I see James turn to Claire, questions hardening in his gaze. Some weddings mark beginnings. This one closes a chapter, the final release of a past I no longer need. Sunlight streams through the towering windows of my office, glinting off the sleek glass desk. 6 weeks have passed since Claire's wedding, but its echoes linger like a fading song. I review a contract from Chicago General, a 9-figure deal for Vitaltech's recovery platform, which slashed their post-op complications by 40%. Numbers tell the truth, unswayed by favoritism. My assistant Tara buzzes the intercom. "Dr. James Harper is here." My pen pauses. I haven't spoken to him since the wedding. "Send him in." James enters, looking worn, his suit creased, eyes shadowed. "Thanks for seeing me without notice," he says, standing until I gesture to a chair. "Coffee?" I offer. He shakes his head. "I won't take long." He hesitates, then plunges in. "I've spoken to a lawyer about an annulment. Claire's entire backstory was a lie. No Georgetown degree. She's not running the clinic, she's their front desk clerk." I nod, unsurprised. The lies were always there, waiting to be uncovered. "I'm sorry," I say sincerely. "There's more," he continues, running a hand through his hair. "The Larson Clinic's been overbilling Medicare for years, charging for procedures they never did. using outdated codes. Claire was part of it. The revelation stings, confirming suspicions I'd buried long ago. I didn't mean to pull you into this, James says. But when I dug into Claire's history, your name kept popping up in old clinic records, then disappearing completely 12 years ago. I gaze at the city skyline, shimmering in the heat. I built this view from nothing while they built their lives on deceit. They used my college fund for Claire, I say, told me I wasn't good enough for Georgetown anyway. James winces. The irony is, I never wanted to practice medicine, I add. I wanted to fix systems, make them better, fairer. You've done that, he says, glancing around my office. Vital tech's changing healthcare nationwide. A comfortable silence settles. The clinic's under federal investigation, he says finally. I tipped off the authorities anonymously after uncovering the fraud's scope. It's been going on for nearly 15 years. 15 years, starting right when I left for college. My phone buzzes with a text from Ethan, picking No up for the aquarium. Join us, warmth fills me. This is my family now. What's next for you? I ask James. Annulment, he says, straightening. Cooperate with the investigation, rebuild. He pauses. I came to apologize for dragging you back into their mess. And to ask, will you get involved in the investigation? The question carries weight. I could bury them with one call to the fraud division. No, I say after a moment. I built my life apart from them. I'll keep it that way. Relief crosses his face. Thank you. After he leaves, I stand at my window, watching the city pulse below. My phone lights up with another voicemail from Claire, her fourth this week. I don't listen. Ethan calls as I grab my bag to meet them at the aquarium. You sound okay, he says. James stopped by. Yeah, the clinic's being investigated for Medicare fraud. A pause. You holding up? Yes, I say, surprised by the truth of it. I was thinking about what you said, how my success is their biggest consequence. I stand by that, Ethan says. But it's your call. My computer pings with an email from a Medicare fraud investigator requesting testimony and records from my time at the clinic. Attached are subpoenas. They want me to testify, I tell Ethan. What'll you do? I watch a hawk soar between skyscrapers, free and untethered. Part of me wants to ignore the email, let their fate unfold without me. But another part thinks of the patients, elderly, trusting, robbed by my family's greed. I'll send what I have, I say, not for revenge for the people they hurt. Ethan's voice softens. That's my Lauren. I forward the clinic records, close my laptop, and head out to meet my family. The aquarium awaits, Noah's laughter echoing in my mind. The past can't touch me anymore. I've built something stronger, something true.